Hey, welcome back. Hope you're doing okay. Don't forget to just live your life with love. If you were watching last time, you may have been quite frustrated that we ended up with an assignment method in our parser, which is full of cruft. Basically, there's a whole load of copied and pasting code and just these awkward things. And the assignment method goes on for pages. And who can understand code that goes on that long? So what we're going to try and do this time is tidy this up a little bit so that, all the excess stuff, the fluff here, is in little methods so that we can really get down to the important stuff, which is like, what does an assignment statement look like? It looks like a let followed by a variable name, followed by maybe a type, followed by an equals, followed by an expression. I'm going to make a little function here. We're going to move it at some point because this isn't the right place for it, but it's going to be something like, give me a token that's not an end of file. So something like next. It's like expect token, I guess. To take a mutable reference to self, or just let's just try a reference to self, see how that goes. And later we might say expect a token that matches a certain match statement. But let's try and be simple. So we're just going to return a token. And then it's actually going to look something like this. We're going to do, it's definitely going to return a result. We might need to pass a little bit more stuff in so that we can build this error message. For example, this token here. All right, so yeah, we need to say if it all goes wrong, we need to have some kind of span. What is a span anyway? So usize, comma usize. And so let's just say previous token span, something like that. Just enough that we can build an error message here. Needs to be a usize. And so now we can just say previous token span here. Like so. Obviously this name is going to change as well. And basically, this let else isn't helping us here, so let's just do if let then do something, otherwise do something else. And if we got back a token, return it, otherwise that's what we want. So basically, alright, so this needs to be a mutable reference to self, because asking for a token is a mutating operation. But yeah, so the let else is because we've got more code coming, but in this case, we're making a nice simple function that just does one thing, looks for a token. If it's not there, then complain about it. And it should be, this to do makes sense, right? We want to say expected a symbol, or like it'll be, for example, I expected a symbol, but I got an end of file. Like we want to say what we're expecting to come next. But we won't deal with that. We'll leave that as a to-do. So we can now, I think, say let symbol equals self dot, what did I call this? Expect token. And just pass in the previous span, which is token. and then remove this stuff. Let's check our tests still pass. Not that we've necessarily... this needs a question mark. Not that we've necessarily actually tested that end of file in the middle of an expression like this. But in a way, by writing this utility function, we only need to test it once. It's actually making our code a little bit more robust. Right, so I said we'd move this, because this is a utility. So I guess it's going to be something like this. Maybe we should just call this token, right? Like it's just, like I expect there to be a token. I guess we could just call this token. Would that be too confusing? Like all this stuff, like assignment, like basically everything says expect something. Like, so when we say assignment, we really mean expect there to be an assignment, otherwise return an error, right? So I guess we can just say token when we expect there to be a token. All right, so now let's look for all the other eoffs in this file and check out whether they should actually just call next token as well. This one should. Self.token. Question mark. Oh, and we still have to pass in the last thing that we were doing, which in this case is symbol. It's a bit awkward that we have to pass that in. I guess in theory we could return an error that we then kind of annotate with that later, but this is fine, I think. Okay, so now I think that's going to work. And again, we're just going to run all the tests in case I completely mess this up. So that seems okay. So next time we're looking for an eoff, we'll do the same thing. So we're doing this step by step, right? But we're going to eventually end up replacing quite a lot of our repeated code with utilities. Again, we have to pass in equals or colon in this case. Is equals or colon the right thing? Yeah, I guess it is. And because this span is actually just a tuple of usize, usize, I guess it's copy, so we don't need to pass in a reference to it. We can just pass it in by value. Right, any more eoffs? Yeah, here's one. I think this is a good function because it feels to me like we can always replace what we were doing with this without worrying too much about it. And again, now what was the last thing? It was type symbol, so that's okay. So much less code. Isn't this nice? Isn't this nice? This is my favorite kind of coding. This should be equals, not equal. Yeah, this is my favorite kind of coding. Just making things nicer, but otherwise the same. Okay, now this time we have got some kind of if structure around our eoff. Where are we? We're in operation write operand. And yeah, we're doing the same thing here. And yeah, we're expecting the right hand side of an operand. So again, we're just going to say that unfortunately it's going to make that comment a bit less easy to understand. But it's self.token. Question mark, semicolon. And yeah, we need to pass in operator again, just to know where the error was if it all went wrong. And I guess we're just going to lose the comment. Are we okay with losing this comment? Let's just say bail out if, bail out if missing. If no token, colon, then it kind of makes sense still. Okay. And again, in a minute, we're going to ignore that. But yeah, this is a pattern we're following, right? Where it's like, get me the next token, there must be one. And also, it must have a particular type. So we'll do that in a minute. All right, another eoff here. All right, this is the eoff we're leaving in. So that's it. All right, so now is this still going to pass? Okay, so our code still works. We've added a utility function. And I've just realized I forgot to commit what I was working on last stream. So let's, I guess we've got to add it all into this commit unless I'm really going to waste your time picking through it. So apologies. My commit discipline on these streams has been absolutely awful. I guess you can't think of everything while you're talking to a stream. So we're going to have to describe this in some horrifically general way, like support, parsing assignments with type, and also some other stuff I'm not talking about. All right. So I wanted to do a little commit with that one little fix in it, and unfortunately, I've not. All right. So back to the assignment method, which is still really long. And yeah, as we said, there's a pattern which is give me a token, there must be one, and the next part of the pattern is give me the token must be of a certain type, not just any old token. So we want to say basically something like, let's sample equal self dot token, let's just say token of type, and then pass in a type, but it's going to be a bit tricky. But maybe we could do this. Like that. And now the return type. So this is going to depend on yeah, I think this will work. Let's try it. So we're going to have a function called token of type. And it's going to be it's going to have a generic parameter of some type t. And it's going to take in an argument which is a result of t. And it's going to return a result of t. Oh, it's going to take in a result of, what does try from return? Of some error type, right? It's going to take in some thing like this, I reckon. And this is it's going to return a miette result. The point of this whole thing is that this should be I guess it's token, something like that. The whole point of this function is it converts a result of some type into a result of type miette result. Does it use the E? It uses the E. It must have a span. So E is, well, I don't know. We'll figure that out. So basically, we're going to call it by passing in a symbol token. And this should take a self. Like so. It doesn't yet return a miette result. And we're going to match on it, and we're going to do basically this type of thing. So, match on the thing we got given. And if it was indeed the type we wanted, we're going to return it. So that'll be OK token. Otherwise, it's going to be error. Get rid of that semicolon. And this should be like expected symbol got a token. Something like that. Now, there's a few things that we need to do. Like we also need to do this business. but we haven't got the symbol. So it's almost like we need to pass in the previous symbol as well, like this, which may or may not be allowed. Doesn't look allowed, does it? Oh no, it's because we don't, yeah. So we need to pass in, like, this is weird, isn't it? This should be called like, this is like converted token or something. But it's not gonna work because we're using token for two things. Unless it's passed by value or something. No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But we're getting the idea. No, maybe it is gonna work because maybe this takes this in by reference and then doesn't. No, it's just gonna complain at us later. We'll need to like clone it or something. So anyway, this is getting awkward. But we only need the span of that token, not its actual thing. So maybe we can like take the span out before we use it. So let's try symbol.span here. And change the type of it so we accept it. And this should be, I guess this should be token span. This is going to work even though it's a bit ugly. And this we can just call token. And the token span is what gets used here. Like so. I mean, I hate the way this is working anyway, that we have to like get this string out and pass it in, but anyway. And then the error type E here, this error that comes back from a conversion like this is, yeah, I'm not sure. It's some kind of, see what's self : error here? It's not self as in symbol token. I think it must be self as in result. I think it must be result : error. No, it must be some kind of, can it be? Is there such a thing as result : error? Is that a thing? Not sure. Doesn't look like it. Oh, I guess it could be stood error. Let's try that, shall we? No, because that doesn't have a span. So what has a span? I guess the point is let's have a look at what symbol token try from returns. Okay, that was okay. This, yeah, it was indeed the error in here. So it's not symbol token, and that includes a span. And I think what we want to do is not use that span because it's too difficult to get hold of. And instead, in our token of type, use the symbol span we've already passed in, because I think that's going to be okay. So let's go to use token span again. Yeah, because it's the same thing really. So now we don't need to use the E. And now I think we're going to get away with not saying what the type of E is, because we're not using it for anything. So I think we successfully converted from an error of some kind of unknown type into a miette error, which tells us what we want it to say. And that means that we can, I think, get rid of this whole business that we just copied into that function and just say, give me a token, and then make sure that token has this type. So this is like, yeah, I think that's okay. We ask for a token, and then we ask for a token of a given type. And the way that has to work in this two-step process, because we need to have, unless we pass in symbol token : try from, or just symbol token. If we were really clever, maybe we could pass in just symbol token and say, well, symbol token has to have an implementation of try from, which is indeed a trait, right? Yeah. So yeah. Okay. We should be able to say, if we're really clever, we should be able to say anything that implements try from token is okay to use for our function. So we could try and make a function called, well, let's briefly call it TOT, right? It's going to be called token of type when we finally get there. It's going to return so it's going to take some type parameters. It's going to take the type that we want, which is going to be of type try from. No, the problem is we need this to actually be a symbol token at the end of this. That's probably okay. So it's going to take in a t. It's going to return a t, or MEAT result of t. And t is going to need to be try from token. I think that's how that works. It's going to return a MEAT result of t, and inside what it's going to do is it's going to try and get a, so this is a method, right? So it's got, first of all, it tries to get, well, I guess we need that span. So this should be prev token span. It should be called previous, not prev. Why are we abbreviating? Which is this. This previous token span is really irritating me. Maybe we could do better. But it's not our concern right now. So first of all, we get hold of, oh, I lost one of my round brackets. First of all, we get hold of a token, so this should be called token. And then we assure that it has the right type. This should be called token. And then we return it like this. And this should be called token as well. And the problem is this should be t try from. And this should be a mutable reference to self. Is this really going to work? I think it's going to work. I feel like this represents some kind of maturing in my, let's check it really works before I start saying that. But I feel like this is like a maturing of my Rust ability, that I can write code like this and it actually works. If it does, then yeah, so this should be a symbol token. And now it's going to magically know the right type for it, right? Is this going to work? Oh, Rust is clever if it is. And I'm clever too, right? Let's say yes. Oh yeah, it totally works. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so let's try and explain what this does and how it works so magically. So basically, we're saying, please give me the next token. Oh, and I have to pass in this annoying thing. And the type of it is symbol token. So this is how you use it. You just say, hi, oi, tot, give me a symbol token. And the like Rust inference engine says to tots, look, when you're deciding what your generic parameter is, you look at the return type that's expected, which is symbol token, and that's what's going to be needed. So return type is a MEAT result of t. So that means T has to, in this case, when we're expanding it, T has to be a symbol token. And let's double check. Does symbol token implement the trait try from token? It does. That means we can call T : try from and pass in a token to it. All right. So then asking for a token is simple. There's no generics involved in that, right? And then asking for token of type expects to get, what does it expect to get? Expects to get just any types, T and E. So this I got confused whether token.span is right, but it is. So this T that comes back from try from, which is a result, this is basically this thing. It's a result of, with any two types, return a me at result, all works. So basically it all works amazingly, remarkably. And all we have to do is find names for the parts of it. So what I could either do is paste the body of token of type into tot and then rename tot token of type, or find a name for this helper function. I guess the body of this it's not too bad to just put it in here, right? And delete that. And this should be token.span, I guess. And here too, hopefully. And, oh, we don't, oh, hang on, what? What have I done? What have I done wrong? This is no longer a thing. And token was, oh, this should be, I somehow lost the try from. And we've got to take the span out before we do that. So let's take it out here. And go back to how we had it a second ago. And it copies it because it's just a tuple of view sizes. And I still hate that we have to do this, so let's put a to-do in. To-do, can we find a way to get Miette to provide the token str instead of us having to extract it and include it with the error. I mean, maybe not, because it's not Miette that's making that error, but anyway. We want to be able to substitute this into the error message that's the kind of standard part of an error, which I think is not related to Miette. Okay. I want to be able to say, e.g. that. Nope. Okay, so now try, what's this called? Tot should now be called token of type. And now we're back to these methods all being things we expect, right? I expect not just a token, but a token of a particular type. Now I'm going to move token of type down a bit, because it's kind of a low level expectation. Not as low level as token, so we'll put it above that. And then there's going to be a load of other places. Let's check our test pass. There's going to be a load of other places that also need this same kind of idea, especially in the assignment function. So let's start with that. So, first of all, equals or colon is a more complicated case, which we'll maybe deal with later, which is that it might be, it doesn't just have one type, there's two possible types, which, yeah, we're going to want to deal with, but we won't do it now. But once we're inside there, we just need a token of type symbol. So we can just say, we need to grab the type. What did I mean by that? Yeah, okay, we found a colon. Yeah, so basically, a colon means the next thing will be a type. So we can say let type symbol equal self dot new thing we just caught right. That's really cool. Which is, well, we've still got to pass in equals or colon span. Still got a question mark it. But if we say the type here, symbol token, and we don't need any of the rest of this rubbish because we've just written a function that does it for us. Check it works. Got a warning though. Okay. Why? What? Suddenly. Okay. So we just deleted some code that did something a bit cleverer. Right? Otherwise. Where was that? It's not symbol token. If I put this all back. Well, firstly our test failed because I'm grabbing two tokens, but also where does this not symbol token get used? Not. Oh, it's the error for on symbol token. We're no longer using the span from that because, okay, that makes sense. All right, so let's try and go back to, no, I've lost it. All right, so just delete that code. Check the test pass. They do, but there is a warning, which is that these errors no longer need spans inside them because we're not using the span that we provided inside the error anymore, because instead of that, let's have a look at token of type. We're basically passing in. No, that's not why. We're passing in for the end of file thing, but we're finding a token, getting its span, keeping hold of it, so we don't need the error to keep hold of it. We were doing something clever there, which is like realizing that the token would be deleted by the time we got into here, so the error should hold that span for us instead. But actually what we can do is just up front grab the span to say, like, where is the token that we're looking at in the source text, and then just use it later. We don't have to do the clever thing of keep holding it in the error message. So that's simplified another bit of code I wasn't even thinking about, which is great. All right, so we're expecting a symbol, otherwise it's an error. And now this to do is exactly what we're doing now. So we can say the equals should be a token of type. Oh, hang on. It should be a token of type. Well, what type of token is an equal sign? Let's go look at our Alexa. It is a token. The token kind equals, but what is a symbol token? Where's that defined? It's defined in parser. What other types of thing are there other than a symbol token? I guess we kind of want a like punctuation token or an equals token or something like that, don't we? To make this pattern work. I hadn't really realized that other types of token don't get converted into a symbol token in this way. So I feel like maybe what we're looking for actually is a different helper function. We want a way of saying this token has a particular token kind. Or we're going to end up with a whole load of things like symbol token for every token kind that exists. And I don't yet know whether that is sensible or overkill. So I think what we're going to go for is we're going to write another function called self dot token with kind, let's say. And it probably needs to take in a span still, doesn't it? Yeah, just for the end of file that might happen. Was the other one called token of type? I hope so. Yeah, token of type. This is going to be token with kind because this is going to be, it's going to, right, we actually don't need it, but we want to say token kind equals, and I don't know, is that even a thing? No. This is not a type. A variant of a enum is not a type. So it's like we want it to match. So yeah, okay. So that's why it's all worked out really nicely for me before, because we weren't doing a match. Now we're trying to do a match. So I guess we want to. This might not work. And instead, maybe we want something that still looks like this. But inside, we're just going to do something nice and simple, like a helper function. So we pulled out a token of type symbol token, something that, like a token that can be converted to a symbol token. We haven't got a conversion function for the equals type. We could consider providing one, but for now, I think it would be quite nice to do self dot. I guess we'll call this unexpected token. It's always going to fail, but like if we use a question mark here, it does the returning for. So we could just say we could return unexpected token. That be better. It's a bit clearer that it always fails. And then this is what's going to. This is basically the work it does is in here. So make a function. So this is. Whoops. This now is not of the same pattern as the other things. This returns a Miette error. No, it returns a Miette result. No, it returns, yeah. It returns a Miette result, which is always an error. Like this. And it needs to know that span, which we're going to pass in. And it seems like that's all it needs to know. And we need to say what type of Miette result it is. It's a result of syntax tree, even though we're never going to return a syntax tree. It's always going to return an error. Okay, so we need to pass in equals.span here. So that's not bad, is it? Like, it's basically 4 lines instead of a whole lump of stuff. It's pretty easy to understand. Does it still work? It does. And we can reuse this in other places, like for example, right here. So I think we can do return self.unexpected token. The only thing we need is that equals or colon span. And it's a bit clearer what's going on here than it was before. And the equals or colon is the correct thing. Yep. Is that still passing? It is. Okay, so this is not too bad. Like ideally, we'd have a function that works like token of type, which is token of kind. I actually think it might be impossible. We might need a macro, like we're using a macro here to check this matching thing. Yeah, I kind of suspect you can't pass in a token kind equals. You can't pass in token kind equals as like a type or something into a function. So it would be awkward. We'd have to write a macro. I don't want to write a macro. So unexpected token is not even one of our normal methods at all. All it does is provides an error, return an error saying this token was not expected, right? Something like that. So it doesn't do the same job as all these other methods, which expect a token and only return an error if it wasn't there. This is already known there's an unexpected token. You're just going to return the answer from it. All right. So how our assignment method is shrinking. Here we've got we've got a whole different type of error for a missing expression. But yeah, look, we're done. Our assignment statement doesn't quite fit on the screen, but it's not too bad. Basically, it says, look for a symbol, look for an equals or colon. Let's just rename this type to underscore. Oh, no, we need it. So this could be a separate method, like look for the type part of a assignment statement. That would be good, wouldn't it? Should we see if we can do an extract method here? Extract into function. Rename our function assignment type. And it's assignment type declaration. Declaration. It's a bit of a mouthful, but assignment type sounds kind of wrong, doesn't it? And now we're going to return. What are we going to return from here? This is a MET result of option of symbol token. That sounds right. Which means we need to return. We need to kind of. We need to somehow make this be an option of symbol token. No, that's not. It shouldn't be. Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Okay. This error now needs converting. Oh gosh, that is a pity, isn't it? It's almost like unexpected token is too specific because it's a result of syntax tree. So what's changed that means this is now a problem and it wasn't? Oh, it's because we're expecting a symbol token specifically and we were before expecting. So we kind of want to just map this to... Oh, this is difficult. All right, am I regretting this? I am regretting it. Can we just undo and think through what we're doing? So the problem here is that when we... Oh, this would help if we were doing this. But anyway, when we return from here, we're returning a result of syntax tree. An unexpected token returns a result of syntax tree, so it's very straightforward. But when we're trying to extract this into a method, we want type here to be a symbol token. not, or actually an option of symbol token, not a syntax tree. So when we're returning from that thing, we've got to convert our result from one thing to another, and it all gets really difficult. So maybe we want to keep this in line. Maybe we're going to live for now with assignment being a page and a bit long. And getting back to what we were saying, basically it says, give me the symbol, like the variable name, find me an equals or a colon, check the equals or colon type, either it's a colon, in which case get hold of a symbol, which is like the type, then get hold of an equals sign and bail out if we didn't get one, give back that type because we're going to use it. If we rename type to type symbol, oh no, but it's going to be called type down the bottom anyway. Otherwise, if we found an equals sign, and we're not looking for a type, we're just looking for the next stuff, so we do nothing, and the type is going to be none, we haven't specified one, and anything else is unexpected. Then we look for the right-hand side of the assignment statement, because we've got past the equals sign either way. If there isn't a right-hand side, it's an error. And now we've got an assignment statement built out of a symbol, an expression, and the type, which might be none. And our test is still passing. So let's have a quick look at the other code in the parser and see whether it can reuse any of our functions we've made. So trying to build a leaf token from a token sounds sensible. Leaf for operation or unrecognized. So I guess we just want to say, let's try using our function again. So let token, let's say let leaf token equal self dot token of type, and then pass in I guess the span from token. So we got hold of a leaf. Alright, so we don't have a try from on leaf token, so we can't use our function unless we write that. Now we do have a try from on leaf token, but I guess it's not part of. No, it is. There's a try from token on defined for leaf token. So what's it complaining about? Is token the right token? Yeah, it's lexicon token. Okay, pretty confused as to why token of type won't work for. Oh, it's because we haven't said. Okay, so we need to say here leaf token, I think. Alright, so now we've got a leaf. Actually, we called it leaf token inside there. And then we can do this. And I think it just gets returned. Otherwise, it would get unexpected token, and I think this is all already done by our function token of type, I think. Okay, we messed something up. We messed up loads, like everything's failing. So there must be, because I've done something wrong. So let's look again at the code we just deleted. So it's saying try and create a leaf token from token. If we got one, then run leave for operation using these end markers on this leaf token. Otherwise, if it went wrong, return unexpected token, and that all looks very similar to what we've done before. So the only question is, what does token of type do? Is it somehow different? Oh yeah, it calls self.token, whereas this we've already been given a token. So that's the difference. So where do we call leaf operation or unrecognized? Perhaps that shouldn't call token. Yeah, but it's already looking for either a keyword or right. So it's already got. All right. So I feel like there should be some kind of convention for. Am I going to suck in another token and do stuff, or have I already done something and I'm just checking it? Meanwhile, that token of type that I combined together now needs to be swallowed back in, and this needs to be token of type, like existing token of type or something like that. Check, let's say check token of type. There must be a better way of putting this. I mean, perhaps I've done enough in this video for now, but let's see. No, this is wrong. We should definitely be doing this part. So, if we're going to make this work, it's going to be because we've got a token of type which calls... Hang on, where am I? No, I'm in the right place. We've got a token of type which calls like check token of type instead of doing it all inline here. So this should be something like self.check token of type with some arguments, and then here there should be fun check token of type with some arguments returning some kind of yet result of T. This is all going to be the same of what it is for token of type. No. And it's going to need to take in the span. See, I should have left this broken apart, shouldn't I? But never mind. Token.span and token. And it's going to take in, therefore, token span. And a token. What is it? Yeah, it's just a token. Because this is exactly the same thing. Oh, it should take in a mutable reference to self. Or just a reference to self. Maybe. And then, what's it complaining about token span for? Oh, we don't need token span because we've got token, right? So we can just do this. Find the other place we called it. Doesn't need token span. It's got token. Tidier, neater, better. And is this still working? Yes. Okay. So that was good. So we re-broke up token of type into get me a token and then check its type. And then we use that checking its type in another place here. Now, we definitely needed to do here, which is to do convention for which methods consume a token from the input and which use an existing one. I mean, maybe the convention is if you pass in a token, then you're not consuming one. But it just feels like, so we've got operation right operand, which does consume a token. And then you've got leaf or operation, which does not consume a token. No, it does consume a token. It's this one. One of these doesn't. No, this one, yeah, leaf or operation or unrecognized. I don't know. Yeah, does this consume it? It like first of all checks something, then it consumes something. So yeah, I guess this is a non-consuming one because it takes in a token. So it would be good to have a convention for that. Okay, so what we were doing was going through the methods and checking whether we can reuse some of these functions that we've made from again. So here, for example, operator token try from is being called. So maybe we can reuse our get next token of type thing. But then what's this? We've got this extra thing here that bails out. Now, what do we get? What happens when we get to the end of this if let? Then we don't bail out. So we can't reuse our thing saying, please, I must get a token. What we probably can do is do check token of type token. Make it be an operator token. Like this, because what do we do? If it's not, then we do an unexpected token in a very normal way. So that seems okay. And that means we can just take the code went in the happy case and put it here. Delete all of that, maybe. But leaves that thing of like, yeah, it should be called operator token, I guess. Anything we can do to shorten these methods helps us understand what they do, which makes it so much easier to read the code. Alright, so a leaf or an operation, it looks for a token. If there isn't one, we're done. It was a leaf. Let's just say we're done. This was a leaf, or there is some stuff, so we can just say there's more, this must be an operation. But if the more was actually an end marker, then we bail out and we give back that end marker. Otherwise it was an operation, so we look for an operator. If it wasn't an operator, we bail out. Okay, so where are we going to? Right operand also does a try from, so this looks like a good thing, and it does a token. So I think this might well be the case that we can say let leaf right equals self.token of type, right? If we're lucky, then we've really made our code a bit easier to understand. Pass in that old span. Now we've got a leaf right. The answer is just an operation. And all of this goes. And we probably want some kind of comment here. So this was just that. And then here we want to do sort of bailout. We'll fix that in a second. Get rid of all this, not needed. And bailout of no token, or if the final token is wrong, e.g. So 3 plus eof or 3 plus plus. Both of those are wrong. So we're going to bail out. Can we fit all that in one line? Not quite. And then if it's right, it's something like 3 plus 3. And I think that is the end of our ability to reuse code, because we've only gotten to the actual code we're reusing. Let's just check whether there's anything here we could reuse that stuff in. Doesn't look like it, does it? Back to assignment. All right, I see some warnings. So not leave token doesn't need a span anymore. And it feels a bit like, why do we even need that error type? And not operator token also doesn't need a span. So these error types feel a little odd now, like overkill, but no harm, I guess. But I think we're done. So what we've managed to do is make our parser considerably shorter by sharing code that does stuff, including with some quite hairy type stuff that I'm quite proud of, which probably is a danger sign. And the nasty bit that I didn't like is now isolated to one chunk of our code, which is not so bad. I guess it's also affects the other sites, the sites that use that error, but anyway, it's not so bad. And we've made it easier to read our functions. What is this? Refactor. Parser to reuse code. Error handling code, really? So, you either like this type of stream, that's interesting. You either like this type of stream where we made stuff much better, or you hate it. I can't get enough of making code shorter or faster, but otherwise identical. So I'm into it. So I hope you enjoyed. Next time we're going to do something cleverer. What are we going to do? We're going to lex floating point numbers so that our guiding test that we're working on, which is currently ignored, so I can just search for ignore. So that our guiding test is eventually going to be a valid test, at least, where we can start doing type checking. But that won't be next video, probably. Probably next video will be preparation for type checking. As I said, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.